Welcome to ATV News. I'm Sarah Schrader-Nahum.
And I'm Katie Urbidi. Today, we will explore how the Republicans took control of the House and Senate in the 2014 midterm elections Tuesday.
ATV also covered American University's last soccer game of the season and a discussion centering on what men and women can do to create a better culture of consent on college campuses.
ATV News starts now. President Obama has replaced Attorney General Eric Holder by nominating U.S. Attorney Loretta Lynch. If confirmed, she would be the first African-American woman to serve in that post. This nomination occurred during a lame duck session of Congress and could spark a battle on Capitol Hill. The White House press secretary, however, said, quote, "Ms. Lynch is a strong, independent prosecutor who has twice led one of the most important U.S. attorney's offices in the country. Her resume includes being U.S. attorney for 2 years under the Clinton administration. She was then reappointed in 2010 by Obama. Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch joined Obama in the Roosevelt Room Saturday for the announcement.
Also in the White House, President Obama appears sending up to 1,500 more troops to Iraq to help Iraqi forces battle the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. Currently, there are about 1,400 U.S. troops in Iraq, and the U.S. has been launching airstrikes against this terrorist group. However, this decision comes with a $3.7 billion price tag that will go towards financing operations and replenishing weapon supply. Now we go to Lauren with her report on the 2014 midterm elections.
It's Election Day in D.C. The Metropolitan Memorial United Methodist Church, located directly across from SIS, is the closest polling location to AU for local voters. Citizens voted on a variety of issues, including a new mayor as well as the legalization of marijuana. I talked to a few of these voters about why they decided to come out and vote today, as well as what issues they personally thought were important in this election.
I think voting is very, very important to our core, and it's one of the things. As soon as I woke up this morning, my kids asked me if I'm going to vote, and I said absolutely.
What we need to be doing is focusing on fixing the issues and stop talking about the issues. So, that's just my voice of opinion.
I'd kind of like to stay the course. I think that the city's become very progressive and we're moving forward on education, which is really important to me. I'm in the educational field.
Now that Mayor Gray is leaving office, the new mayor is going to be a very important catalyst on how the framework for the DC area will be for the next 3, 4, 5, and maybe even more, 6, 7 years to come.
I need to see some progressing. That's what I want to see.
The voters also shared their thoughts on the importance of voting.
Well, it's the one time in your daily life that you get to stand up and be counted, and I think that it's really important for your own self-esteem, first of all, to be acknowledged, but also as a collective, to be a part of the collective, people who are having their say, and it's just really important, win or lose, whether your candidate wins or loses. I think it's just important to do it for that reason.
Polls closed at 8 p.m., and the results are expected soon. For ATV News, this has been Lauren Kaur.
Hi, I'm Jalen Fairborn Chapman, and this is ATV Entertainment. Bravo released its trailer for the 5th season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last Monday. It features all of the women from last season, except for former Miss Puerto Rico Joyce Giraldo de Oven and Wiccan interior designer Carlton Jebbia. In their places are soap opera actors Lisa Rinna and Eileen Davidson, both renowned for their work on Days of Our Lives, with Davidson winning a Daytime Emmy as a lead. This season includes a trip to Amsterdam, wine throwing, and even a slap to the show's matriarch, Lisa Vanderpump. Season 5 premieres on November 18th on Bravo at 9/8 Central. While the ladies of Bravo are focusing on tricks, many of our favorite celebs were treating us with their fantastic Halloween costumes last weekend. The Carters were all works of art, with Beyonce being Frida Kahlo, Jay-Z as Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Blue Ivy as their Picasso baby, a play off the rapper's single. But, of course, Heidi Klum struck again, sitting comfortably on her throne as Queen of Halloween. The model and Emmy-winning host stepped out in New York as a magnificent butterfly and put all of us to shame. However, the real shame is that we've only been able to experience one album from both Tiana Taylor and Azalea Banks thus far. Both Taylor's 7 and Banks's Broke with Expensive Taste were long overdue in their fans' eyes. They've been on the scene for a number of years and have only just released their debut studio albums. Taylor has had some qualms with previous labels, stating she wanted more independence in the music industry. She was signed for 6 years to Interscope, and she felt like she couldn't sing with her heart. You can buy 7 and Broke with Expensive Taste on iTunes right now. I'm Jalen Fairborn Chapman, and this is ATV Entertainment.
Do we have the confirmed killer of Osama bin Laden? A former Navy SEAL, Robert O'Neill, has come forward claiming to have fired that shot that killed bin Laden. This has caused quite a controversy, as an unspoken military rule is don't seek attention for your service. O'Neill doesn't care though. He says the families of the 9/11 victims told him it would help bring them closure. He goes on to say, quote, "But I don't care if I am the shooter, and there are people who think I'm not, so whatever," end quote. O'Neill's story has revealed details that were unknown before, and he believed no longer had to be classified.
In other news, gay marriage bans were upheld in 4 states this past Thursday. Those 4 states included Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee. The first major case was lost in the federal appeals court, and this has created division among the nation's circuit courts. Due to this, a Supreme Court review is likely to happen. After 4 years of the mysterious disappearance of the McStay family, answers may finally be found. The remains of the California family of 4 were discovered by a motorcyclist in a remote area about a year ago. Police now say that they may have found the suspect behind these murders. Ex-business partner Charles Chase Merritt has been charged with 4 counts of murder in the deaths of Joseph and Summer McStay and their 2 sons.
Taylor Swift and Spotify seem to never, ever, ever be getting back together. Her new album 1989 made her the 2nd biggest selling act of the year and the first solo platinum selling artist of 2014. She took her music off Spotify last week, leaving millions of users Swiftless. She explained she is not willing to contribute her life's work to an experiment that does not compensate the writers, producers, artists, and creators of this music. Spotify has released statements hoping Taylor will change her mind and come back to the online music streaming site.
Now we go to Mike Goodkind with the latest in sports.
I'm Mike Goodkind, and this is ATV Sports. In AU athletics, the men's soccer team was defeated by the Princeton Tigers 2-0 on Wednesday, November 5th. The team's record fell to 10-4-3. However, they will make an appearance in the Patriot League playoffs on November 11th. The women's soccer team unfortunately suffered a 1-0 loss to Colgate last Saturday. Their season is officially over as well. The girls field hockey team ended their season with a 3-1 loss to Boston University on November 1st in the Patriot League semifinal. The AU goal was scored by Leah Digian-Domenico. The girls volleyball team continued their impressive season with a 3-1 win on Wednesday at Navy. Allison Capolino led the team in kills with 17, followed by Kelly McCadden with 11. And then they played Holy Cross later in the week, and they defeated them 3-0 in a sweep. Kelly McCadden again had the standout performance with 11 kills. The volleyball team stands at 22-5 after that win and 13-0 in their in-conference play. The AU men's basketball team is finally back in action. Coach Mike Brennan and company will take on Temple this Friday, November 14th. The game will be televised on ESPN3 at 7:30. Do not miss that. And in pro sports, the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James are kind of cold. However, they did just defeat the Denver Nuggets 110-101 on Friday. I'm Mike Goodkind, and this is ATV Sports.
Thanks, Mike. Now we go to Lila with ATV's coverage of the women's last soccer game.
On Saturday, November 1st, AU women's soccer team played their final game of the season against the Colgate Raiders. The game marked the last game for the seniors of the team. In honor of the seniors' last game, a pregame ceremony was held. Seniors Michaela Cowgill, Danielle Beard, Kirsten Erickson, Nicole Paviglianiti, Lindsay Miori, and Charlene Belanger were all escorted on the field one by one with their families. The director of athletics, Billy Walker, head coach Annabelle Herring, and AU soccer alumnae, Kim Underwood, all greeted the players on the field and gave them all a final gift. After the ceremony, the teams took the field. The Raiders had a strong start, constantly attacking and giving senior goalkeeper Charlene Belanger plenty of opportunities to stop the goal. The rest of the team did a formidable job on defense as well. The Raiders scored the only goal of the game on a penalty kick. Despite losing, the seniors have a very positive outlook on the years to come.
We had a really tough year, but the freshmen are so talented. DePino, Kira Flaherty is really good in the midfield. I think only good things.
We have a talented freshman-sophomore class, and I think the juniors will turn into great leaders next year, so I think this team is, one to look out for.
For Deepak Baggett and Brandon Cramen, I'm Lila Nasser.
Ebola quarantine policies have arisen all around the United States and are creating a hesitation from healthcare workers about volunteering their services in West Africa. Potential volunteers are anxious about returning to the States and facing mandatory quarantine policies. Others say quarantine would be the least of their worries if it means saving lives in that region for those who are just not receiving supportive care they need. Ebola can only be transmitted by direct contact with the patient's bodily fluids after symptoms have begun, but the CDC and many politicians are taking further measures to protect the public. The last person connected to the Ebola virus in the United States has passed the 21-day incubation period and marking the end of the virus in the States for now. ATV's Michaela now has the latest from Wall Street.
I'm Michaela Amos, and this is ATV Finance. This week, a report from the government revealed that unemployment in the U.S. is currently at 5.8%, the lowest it has been in 6 years. The areas with the highest growth included the service and retail industries and healthcare. In the midterm elections this week, 5 states voted to raise the minimum wage. Voters in Alaska, Arkansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota supported proposals to raise their wages by 2017, and Illinois voted on a non-binding measure that will not immediately change the current law. The NASDAQ went down this week, ending at 4,632, and the Dow went up, ending at 17,574. I'm Michaela Amos, and this has been ATV Finance News.
We now turn to Maggie and Jonathan with the latest developments in politics.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Maggie Miller, and this is the ATV News Politics Report.
Tuesday's midterm election was a major success for the Republican Party. The GOP gained 7 new Senate seats, which gives them a majority in the Senate and the House. The victory for the Republicans will pose a challenge for President Obama during his last 2 remaining years in office. Senator Republican Party leader Mitch McConnell said that a top priority for the Republican Party will be repealing Obamacare and reversing immigration reform.
Democrat Muriel Bowser won the D.C. mayoral election in a landslide, leading her opponents by almost 20 percentage points. Voters in D.C. also voted to legalize the use of recreational marijuana, as well as possession of it in small amounts, though they stopped short of approving the sale of it.
One of the biggest upsets on Election Day came in the state of Maryland. Maryland elected a Republican governor despite the fact that Democrats outnumber Republicans 2-1 in the state. Businessman Larry Hogan is the state's second elected Republican governor in the state's history. Larry Hogan defeated Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown by less than 5 percentage points on Tuesday. Hogan's victory comes on the heel of him promising the state that he will improve the state's economy by rolling back tax increases enacted by the current administration.
In Virginia, Democratic Senator Mark Warner won the race for re-election by only 1 percentage point against Republican Ed Gillespie, a surprising result due to Warner's early lead in polls. Virginia also went almost entirely red in the race for spots in the House of Representatives, with only 3 out of 11 districts electing Democratic representatives.
That's all from the ATV News Politics Reports. I'm Jonathan Hunter.
And I'm Maggie Miller. Now back to Katie and Sarah.
Thanks, Maggie and Jonathan. Now we look at Andy reporting on creating a culture of consent about what men can do.
This is Amira Keaton, and I'm here for ATV News reporting on site for Conversations That Matter, exploring masculinities and men's everyday lives.
Topics discussed during the workshop included hypermasculinities, the development of gender roles, rape culture, street harassment, male hegemonic idealisms, mental health, and sexuality, among others.
Masculinity is a structural, social, and cultural issue worldwide. But I think they're particularly important in our culture because stereotypes of masculinity drive so much of everyday life.
Subjects of hypermasculine culture were discussed, with questions such as why is it important to talk about masculinity, as well as health in relation to masculinity.
I think my favorite part of tonight's event was how a number of panelists, along with the moderator, talked about masculinity as a plural concept. So the idea that all sorts of different men express their gender in all sorts of different ways.
A group of students gathered tonight to observe a panel moderated by Dr. Lauren Weiss, Director of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies here at American University.
But there is a certain programming, I think, in American culture that we have that you're not supposed to show emotion, you're not supposed to show sadness, it's a sign of weakness.
I think without opening up meaningful conversations about the experience of men's lives, that those kinds of painful assumptions and stereotypes will continue to kind of poison our community.
This has been Amira Keaton reporting for ATV News.
Up next, Bennett and Lauren update us on world news.
Hello everyone, I'm Bennett Lapides.
And I'm Lauren Clements here with your World News Report. North Korea has just released 2 American detainees, Kenneth Bae and Matthew Todd Miller. Bae has been held in North Korea since 2012, sentenced to 15 years of hard labor for hostile acts against the North Korean government in 2013. Miller had been detained since April and convicted in September also for committing hostile acts against North Korea. The U.S. government is currently facilitating their return, although it is not yet clear exactly when they will make the return.
Ukrainian authorities accused Russia yesterday of sending dozens of military vehicles into the eastern border. The Kremlin has denied such reports and called them provocative. NATO officials have said that if the reports are true, it's just further proof of Russian attempts to destabilize the region.
Human remains found in Mexico are believed to belong to the 43 college students who went missing back in September. Investigators believe that the students were abducted by police and then were turned over to a gang who then killed them and tossed their bodies in bags into a river. While the remains do match the information given by 3 detained suspects in the case, DNA tests still need to be done to confirm the identities of the bodies. In a series of executions last week, ISIS militants killed over 300 Sunni tribe members. According to the Iraqi government, some of those executed were women and children, which is unusual for ISIS militants. 9 children and 6 women were killed in the latest incident on Saturday, which occurred in a desert near the town of Hit.
A former bodyguard of Kim Jong-il has spoken out recently about the former leader and the family in general. He says that Kim Jong-un is the cruelest of the rulers, attempting to use fear to keep his power that has now been passed down to the 3rd generation.
On Thursday, top military commander in the United States campaign against ISIS, Lloyd Austin, revealed that the coalition was able to listen in on ISIS communications. He said, "As we listen to them, we know that the impact of the precision strikes is demoralizing them." Thanks for tuning in. I'm Lauren Clements.
And I'm Bennett Lapides.
Now back to Katie in the studio.
Robin Williams, the legendary actor and comedian's death, has officially been ruled a suicide. Williams had been battling a tough fight against depression, anxiety, and early stages of Parkinson's disease. He is remembered for helping so many around him and making millions smile and laugh. Depression is present all around us here at American University as well. There are people you can turn to for help. The AU Counseling Center, located on the 2nd floor of MGC, offers Be Your Best workshops and ongoing support, as well as one-on-one counseling. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, anxiety, or suicidal thoughts, call the AU Counseling Center for confidential support and treatment.
Actress Keira Knightley made a bold statement by posing topless for Interview magazine. The purpose behind such action was that she wanted the images to represent her as she is and not be manipulated by Photoshop. It really doesn't matter what shape you are, Knightley said. She argues that she's tired of having her body misrepresented through digital reconstruction. This adds on to the world conversation about how women are portrayed in the media and the criticisms they receive for not looking perfect enough for Hollywood. Up next, Chelsea reports on the weather coverage.
Put away your umbrellas and break out your winter coats. Welcome to your ATV weather report. We're going to start the week off with some sunshine. We'll have a high of 64 and a low of 46. We'll be hitting 68 on Tuesday with sunny skies and a low of 50. Wednesday will be our flash back to fall. The high will be 55 with a low of 40 and cloudy skies for the rest of the week. Thursday, our high is 45 and our low is 36. And Friday, we'll be ending the week off with a high of 46 and a low of 33. My name is Chelsea Smart. Stay warm, stay cozy, and shine on AU.
What's Up AU gives us the must-knows on campus with Alex and Kristen next.
Hi, I'm Alex Wong.
And I'm Kristen Left, and welcome to What's Up AU.
The AU Archives personnel will be showing footage of AU students protesting the Kent State shootings in 1970. This footage will show AU students being arrested by DC police, chaos that ensued after the police used tear gas, and a rally in the Woods Barn Amphitheater. So come out to the screening on Wednesday, November 12th in the Bender Library from 5 to 6 p.m.
On November 12th, AU is bringing a lot of furry friends to campus. The event, hosted by the Counseling Center, is partnering with volunteers from the People Love Animals organization. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., dogs will be available on the quad to play with, pet, and de-stress with. Don't miss out.
And if you're allergic to dogs, then come out to a successful student series discussion about stress and anxiety, sponsored by the Academic Support Center and Access Center. This discussion, held in Bender Library Room 115 from 4 to 5 p.m., will talk about how you can reduce your stress and anxiety about finals.
I'm Kristen Left.
And I'm Alex Wan, and this has been What's Up AU.
Sarah, I cannot believe there's going to be puppies on AU's campus next week.
I know, I am so excited, and I think it'll be a great stress relief for everyone.
Make sure everyone goes out to the quad next week to play with the puppies. That's all with ATV News. I'm Katie Arbidi.
And I'm Sarah Schrader-Nahum. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a great week, AU.